Well, here we are. We're doing it for real, guys. Welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are a part of this. And I got to tell you, I just want to talk to you about some fun stuff and some hilarious stuff, as well as just kind of where things are at for me today. Kind of the exciting pieces that are happening as we plan, as I go through this process. First of all, I would love to, I just want to thank you guys. We reached 500 likes and followers. And for me, I'm blown away by that. In less than a week, we've kind of busted this through the seams of this thing. And I just am so excited to see where this is going to go. And then on top of that, we've had over 10,000 views on the site. And to me, that's mind-blowing. Now, granted, they're only like 3-second views, and no, I'm not sitting around just like looking at those all the time wondering, oh, I wonder how many views are. No, I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm not neurotic like that. I mean, no, who would do that? But some exciting stuff. One of my favorite things about this so far, it really truly is my haters. I mean, it took less than a week to begin to kind of bring out some people that had some really awesome comments that I just had to share with you kind of where they are, what they did. And man, to me, it's great. I'm creating enemies already, and I've done nothing yet. So I thought I'd read a couple of them to you. And plus, not to mention, this is going to kind of, let's just say it's going to kind of break the seal, if you will, of cussing, because right here, I'm an overcusser, so I'm just not the first one to start. It's this guy. Well, the first one is from a Barry. Barry says, yeah, you know what, Les? I'm tired of fucking assholes like you. I would like to meet your father someday to understand why he raised a fucking scam artist like you. Well, Barry, I don't have a clue why, if this was such a bother to you, that you would take the time out of your life to come onto my Facebook page and make a comment like that. But what I do know is that I bet my dad wouldn't mind meeting you. We could probably make that arrangement. You could ask him all the questions you want. I haven't asked him yet, and maybe we'll get him on here someday to kind of find out if that's okay with him. But he's kind of a cool guy. And, well, like father, like son, sorry, Dad. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but so be it. My response to these guys, and I'm not trying to poke fun at all, but what I do love about this is, I responded to Mr. Barry this way. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to reach out, despite the fact that this was obviously offensive to you. I'm sorry my free content was disrupting to your day. May you always be built up, not torn down, as you pursue whatever makes you happy in this life. Every time someone intends hurtful things, I realize how important my goal of encouraging others really is. It inspires me even further to keep going. So thanks, and peace to you. I had another guy the other day who wrote something really strange. It's like, get the fuck off my page or whatever. I guess I did do some ads. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I want to kind of get this thing rolling. But here's what he said. He said something like that, and I go, thanks for the fucks. Honestly, you've got one life, and obviously you've been treated poorly, and I'm sorry. May you always be encouraged to try new things, and may you always be built up, not torn down by others. Peace, and I'm sorry to have caused you emotional distress. Now, I got to tell you that I've had some times in my life where there were some really challenging things that have happened, where there were people in my life that I cared deeply about, and we'll probably talk a lot more about this down the road. But it's kind of one of those situations where, as I think about the people who come into our lives on a day in and day out basis, and they try to rip us down and shred us and just destroy us, when all we're trying to do is just make it through our day. We're just kind of progressing. We're trying to move into life, if you will, just like everybody else is, and they take the time out to just knock you down. And I think we have opportunities in those moments that I really want to kind of bring out for us today to really kind of say, look, we don't have to play that game. I mean, when people are in a position where they have to come in and they have to try to knock us down, when bullies exist, which they do, and they come into our lives and they want to constantly just kind of bombard us with all this bullshit that they think is going to somehow harm us, it's up to us to decide whether or not that's going to be the way we take it. It's up to us to decide whether or not we're going to internalize that or if we're actually going to let that feed the thing we're always already telling ourselves on a day in and day out basis. I hope that you're not telling yourself that kind of stuff. I hope that you're not trying to find ways in your own life to build yourself up and find ways to build up others instead and try to find ways to build. That totally didn't make any sense. Let's reverse that. What I'm hoping for you is that what you're trying to do is build others up. But before you even get to that place, that you start by building yourself up each and every day. About 2009, I had something really horrible happen to me in my life. My wife and I act like I'm the only one who is a part of that whole thing. But I remember it was June 4th, my wife's birthday of all things. We were standing out in front of our house in a moving truck. And we weren't in the moving truck. We were standing outside of the moving truck too, about to leave, waiting for the kids to get home from school on their last day of summer. And I saw them coming down the road, and it was such a painful moment to watch this, knowing that what had just happened in this community was so hurtful and so destructive for me, how I took it personally. And we were waiting for them as some things that I need to give a backstory on that one of these days. But ultimately, it was a church plant that we had started that just fell to pieces. It was nobody's fault. Well, if there was anybody at fault, it was my own. I had so much ego at play. I had so many other things going on. We had so many desires and so many wants. And in the community, we were just really struggling to figure out how to make our way as leaders. And it was growing faster than we could. And it blew up. And it blew up. And when it did, it was ugly. It was ugly from my end. It was hurtful from all angles. But that day when my kids were coming home and we were heading off, I just remember sitting there going, what is happening? And it felt like the world was against us. It felt like everybody had just kind of left us there high and dry. And maybe you feel like that sometimes. And I'll just tell you, I don't want you to wait as long as I did and take as long as it took me to finally come around to finding my way. My wife and I have been through so many struggles since then, and it has been a beautiful, beautiful, painful world of growth that I would not take back for anything. But what I want to tell you is when you guys have haters come into your life, and some of those haters aren't even really your haters, but when they come into your life and it feels like they're beating you down, I want you to remember something. They are in the same boat, beating up themselves all day long. They are hurting themselves each and every day. Every word that was described on my page by that gentleman who wrote that he wants to meet my daddy so that he can find out why he made such an asshole like me. That guy is living in a world where he feels like that asshole. He's looking in the mirror of his life and he's sitting there and he's saying, why did you show up today, you asshole? And we've got to start telling ourselves a totally different narrative. You see, the narrative that I used to tell myself about that day on June 4th is something entirely different. The day when all of these people around me I thought were my enemies ultimately later on come full circle and we have a complete time of reconnecting, of reconciling those relationships, and now they're more beautiful than they ever were. Now, I miss those guys and I don't see them as often, and I miss that community, but what I can tell you is that those people have always loved me. And they were never even my enemies. But the only enemy at that time, and in my world, was this guy looking in the mirror of my life. My ego sometimes gets in the way of a lot of all that's going on here. Like, it's taken me a while to kind of be this raw, and I'm going on 9 minutes, and I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness, I gotta watch the time, and it's like all the stuff that what you guys want is what my ego says, I gotta give them what they want. But really, that's not what this is gonna be about. And that's not what your life should be about. What your life should be about is about living into your truest and best self. It's what I'm embracing right now. It's an organic nature of beginning to realize that you are not the thoughts in your brain, but that you are created with this inner self, this deep connectedness between heart and gut, that every single day is driving at you to say, please welcome me into your world. And we sit around and we're worried constantly about what the people are going to say to us across, well, here we are, technical difficulties in the middle of a great, great point. Man, good grief. Am I still alive? That's a good question. Yeah, I am. Hey, good to see you guys. Sorry about that. But it's this point of deep within you, this connection between heart and gut, you've got to know is such a big, big piece of who you are. And I want you guys to know that I'm here to support you on that endeavor. And I want you guys to know that this community and that what we're building is going to have people who are going to come in and they're going to try to tear us down. They're going to call you a scam artist like me, who literally has tried to sell nothing, who has literally just told you, I want to share with you my life, who has just told you, I want to build a community of encouragement. People are going to come in on your best day, at your highest high, and they're going to try to rip the seed out from underneath you. They want to knock you down. They want to keep you down because they do not know how in the world they can live into that truest and best self. What our world needs today is a less polarizing option. And you'll hear me use that word a lot. But we don't need any more segmented people where you're in, you're out, you're welcome, you're not. I'm tired of that, and I hope you are too, because ultimately what our world needs is for us to recognize that we have something much deeper and much more concrete that we can hold on to in our lives, and that is our humanity. Our collective humanity is this. When we hurt each other, we all bleed red. When we breathe in the same oxygen from the same plants across the world. On this little bitty pebble that we live on, we act sometimes like we are the biggest and the baddest asses of the world. But the reality of our lives is that we are only great when we are unified, and we are a collective, unified community of people called humanity. I'm so tired of labels, and I can't even begin to go into that, but for another day. And I want you to know I have no idea what this is ultimately going to look like from day to day. But what I can tell you is I have a huge hope that this community evolves into what this community needs to be. And I'm here to serve you as we grow into that one big awakening together. That when we are across the world, whether we are across the world or we are sitting next to each other, that we have the ability in this globalized world to unify ourselves. And I believe that that comes with great questions, asked more and more, so that we can find the overlaps of our unity, the places where we agree, the places where we can come to agreement, and realize that everything else is the diversity of who we are trying to live into something much better than we are today. So, I ain't got much more today. That was pretty real. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't really know where this was gonna go, and here we are. So, welcome to the journey, and let's have some fun. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'm working with all sorts of new different kind of technologies and trying to figure out the best way to do this. But let me know if this was good, and man, I actually hope you can hear me. That's going to be an interesting one if you can't. But love you guys. I'm so grateful to be a part of your life. And man, if you wouldn't mind, take a minute, share this thing. I should have probably said it at the beginning of the video, but share this video. We need to get some more people in here who are looking to grow. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. If you're looking to find comfort and you're looking to find just this straight line, mainstream, dogmatic principle of life, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. And we're out on that. I'm out on that completely. I've been down that road. Life is too big, and there are too many people in this world who just need to be loved. And so, I'm going to get going again. I'm ending this thing now. We're going to talk later. Don't forget, guys. I need you guys to like this. I want you to like this because I want to build this thing so that we can be something great and we can reach across the world and make some massive movements of change and awakening. I love you. We'll talk soon. Bye.